The Chronicles of a Man Greatly Helped by God. So I'm here with our father, our mentor, and he's just going to be telling us one or two things, especially as pertaining to the men, on how we can navigate life. So very quickly, he will just be introducing himself. But before he does that, make sure that you subscribe to this channel, make sure that you like, and make sure that you share this video to one or two people that you believe it will be of help to. And God will help us in Jesus' name. So let him introduce himself.
Oh, praise God. My name is Brother Francis Imafedon.
Brother.
Yes, now, I might know you brought that. At least generation one, Gen Z generation now. Praise God. So, popularly called Prince Imafedon.
What's that prince? Where did he?
We will get there.
We'll get there.
So let's not just be in haste. So I think that is my name. You asked for the introduction of my name, and there's nothing so special about me. It's just that I have the grace of God beckon on me. So
okay, so very quickly, you'll just be telling us about your childhood, about circumstances around birth, things that happened, just basic things about childhood.
When I'm not Jesus Christ. but
maybe three wise men came around.
No, there's nothing special about my childhood. Like every other person could say, probably there's a mystery behind that, but there's nothing absolutely about my childhood. I was born like every other child was born. I was raised like every other child was raised. All right. So, but then I just remembered that I asked my mother some questions, and I discovered I was born in the mid-80s. All right. So, and growing up was quite interesting. All right. So there's nothing absolutely so special about my birth. But at the long run, while I was growing, there was a contention about my destiny. So unlike Jesus Christ, that had his birth prophesied, gave birth to the male child, my mother had a delay, according to the story I had. But that wasn't just, it's just normal that a woman that is eagerly to get pregnant, and then, so she just had. But then when she eventually got it, of course, she was very happy. But there's no something special about my childhood. But as I was growing up, there was a contention.
Okay, can you just give us like an idea about?
Yeah, what I mean by there was a contention, I remembered that while I was growing up, I was very sickly. My father thought probably I'm a sickle cell, you know. And then my mother said I was always in and out of hospital. So there and then she was tired. Right, she was tired. So my father now told her, okay, go and run a genotype test on him. So when they run the genotype test, and then they found out that I was AA.
And get this,
you know, as Daniel, my father was, he knelt down on the floor. I don't know what was
So what could have been the issue?
Then my mother, I remember vividly, it was Victory Specialist Hospital. So my mother said she now discovered that it was more of spiritual than medical.
Wow.
All right. So she took me out on one of the fateful days that she returned from the hospital. And then she got outside. She was like, Lord, you gave me this child at the sunrise rather. So she lifted me up and she said,
wow.
So while they gave birth to me, all right, the priest that christened me, you know, in Catholic Church, and when they took you to church, in this present day Pentecostal, we call it dedication.
Yeah.
So then it was christened and then baptism. So the priest apparently happened to be that Sunday was the first Sunday he would attend our church as a priest.
Wow.
So he gave me his name, Francis. All right. So that was where, you were asking how the prince came about as we will get there. But that is how Francis came about. All right. So that was how I was growing up. And after that prayer that my mother had outside, that was the end of that predicament. So all along, this one that I just said within 2 seconds about the challenges during my childhood took her years. Took at least first 7 years of my life. That sickly part I
was even about to ask that. At what age did the incident where she raised you up?
I think that was when I was 7.
7.
Yes. That
So
was
she has
7.
endured for 7
So
years.
I've already had 2 younger ones behind me.
Already. You were the major person that was, but the other people too were.
No, they were not. I was just in the process where there's she had a male child after me. So that one passed. So, but in the midst of it, I was still sickly.
It's kudos to mommy.
Yes.
We celebrate you, man. It's not
It's just that.
So very quickly, let's just go to the second thing that we have.
Okay.
Tell us about academics, about primary school, secondary school. How was the experience? And what's your advice to young people that are saying school is a scam and it's better we just learn a skill online?
Thank you very much. School is never a scam, and it will never be a scam. Let us not, because of the mundane things of the world, begin to change the narratives of the importance of education. I remember while growing up, my father works with iron ore mining company that is called Ajakuta Steel Company, the subsidiary of Ajakuta Steel Company. So in Kogi State, they call it Itakwi. So my dad works there, and then he has worked in P&T Oshogo before, that is telecommunication Oshogo, before he was employed there. So there is a staff school there called Itakwi Staff School. So we were there. When Ajakuta Steel Company was still going through this non-payment of salary, that was, that was when federal government was about to abandon that facility there in that establishment. So he moved me away from there because Federal College of Education Staff School just came up. So the school fees was quite lesser, being a federal school. So we were moved there, but we were withdrawn from there because of the incessant riots of the students and the provost and all that. There is a spot somewhere around my eyes here.
It was caused by that riot.
It was caused by that riot. My dad dropped us off. Okay. He was using a B2 then. So when he dropped us off, he quickly, unlike my dad, he got to the gate and told us that he's going back. But he was not going to go to the office with a car. So no, he just dropped us. Okay. And there's a shortcut from the gate to the school premises. All right. So he dropped us and turned back from the gate. So he didn't get inside the school. So he went back home to drop the car. Because when there's a riot like that, all right, they will block the federal highway. Any vehicle they can set that place. Wow. So if you know Kogi State very well, so it was that period, and then my dad went back. So there's this our church member that also has a B2, that also had a B2, came with his children. So he went down to drop them. As he was coming back, they set the vehicle on a place. So I was seeing that kind of a scene. We were now trying to escape for our life.
Dear
I think
life.
we heard that they've killed the provost. So they used the barbed wire to fence the school then. So the gardener now helped us to cut the barbed wire, so that we could pass through
there.
and escape. So that was where it was.
Okay,
So
well,
that is my primary school experience. So my father saw that, he withdrew us from there to St. Joseph Catholic Primary School. That one was just that's the third one now. That one was just behind our house.
Very
So he felt it was easy for him, and so we were there. So that is how my primary school experience, very quite interesting. And then my father had us have a good educational background.
Can we just hear a summary of secondary school? So I want to hear your experience with JAM, your experience with WAEC, things like that.
Okay.
Before entering school and all that.
Okay.
How?
But if I said that I've never attempted JAM, you believe it?
JAM, everybody writes it.
But I'll come to that. You see, when I entered into secondary school, I went to live with one of my uncle in Ondo State.
JSS1?
Yes, JSS1. I started JSS1 in his place, and then I think I was to go to, it was from primary 6, yeah. I went to his place then. JSS1, I came back to meet my dad, and I was schooling, and then it was a bitter experience. My secondary school was a bit bitter because my mom was not there. They've had separation between when I live with my uncle in Ondo State and then I returned back. So it was kind of an awkward experience for me. That was when life began with me. And then every other person enjoyed their secondary school. My secondary school experience came with pain, bitterness, and sort of kind of a regret. That when I go to school in the morning, returning back, you are not sure of the next meal you're going to take. It was that. Not that my father had challenges, but because of the woman.
Separation.
Okay, so our stepmother wasn't taking responsibility of those of us whose mother are not with my father. So mind you, my dad is a polygamist. So I grew up to find out that and all that. So when I got to GSS3, that made me, that singular hostility in the home made me to become an angry child. So I in school, not in school, at home, I became so stubborn and wild to the extent that I was moving about with knife, dagger.
Where did you see dagger?
In my place they do blacksmith, so they do all these knives. So I would just know about.
You bought it?
I bought. Because I couldn't withstand the oppression from my own siblings just because we don't have the same mother. Are you getting what I'm saying? So that oppression was that much. So the only way to defend myself was just to have. So whenever I would remove the knife. So
let me ask you a funny question. Did you use it?
Of course I did. But when they see that I remove but there was a day I was forced to. I was almost.
Like most of them knew that you had the dagger.
They know. They know I had the dagger. They know. But I did not use it. So there's this man, he's a prophet now, Uncle Isaac. Uncle Isaac is also Jah. So one day he came and asked me to give him the dagger. So I gave him. But as I was growing up, God has always placed people side by side to always guide me. So my grandfather called me one day, and he has a very big mirror, and he said I should stand in front of the mirror. So I stood in front of the mirror, and then my grandfather hid behind me. So he took a needle, started poking me behind. So he said I should just look at the mirror. Can I see him? I said no, couldn't see him. So he said, what was I seeing? I said I was seeing my reaction. He said, so people outside is only seeing your reaction. They are not seeing what is causing it.
Grandfather and wisdom.
So he now said, if you allow people that they will just form an opinion about you, those who are supposed to be of help to you will not. But they will not know that something
is behind it.
So that was the end of me going about with that guy. So I resorted in sleeping in the church. When I'm coming back from school, I will just go to the church and stay from 2 p.m. when there's no prep, from 2 p.m. to like 6 before going home. So when I get home, whatever I see, I eat. If it's gari, whatever. At times I could go to one of our fellowship and president. Then he's late now. Uncle Matthew Ido of blessed memory. These are the people that God used to build my Christian faith in God. So at times when he's home in the afternoon, we were many, and he was living in a room. So we may be up to 6 in one bed. So, and he's also living with his stepmom. So whatever food they gave him, small. So all of us just take one bite and just so for you to have pepper in your mouth. And that was how we were living our lives. And then early in at times we will have a vigil to have Murray cry in the community. So the story of my life, like being a stubborn boy, they now started liking me. So I was acting drama, became a very popular person in the community. Not as a bad boy again, but as a Christian.
As a good boy.
As a good boy.
That was very interesting.
So that's just so going to JAMB that I said, I did not write JAMB because the moment I finished secondary school, I passed my WAEC once. Though it caused pain, because while I was in SS1, I left my father's house because of the wickedness of my stepmother. So I was living in my uncle's house. So I had all the time to read. So contrary to what they told my dad, that I left the house because I want to be humanizing, having girlfriends and all that. So one day, my elder brother just came one Saturday morning. He just bumped into the house. He saw a sitting room like this, and then there were books on the tables and all that. He said I should open. Where's my room? I pointed to my room. So he said, open it. I opened it. He was looking at me. He said, which room? I said, that is Daddy Lagos room. The key is not with me. He said, okay. So he went to the visitor's room. He opened it. He said, where's my toilet? I said, this is my toilet. He opened it. There is no woman there. And he left. He was the one that now told my dad that what your wife is telling you is not true.
I think we should have maybe another session to talk about this polygamy.
Yes, it's very important we talk about polygamy so that people who are contemplating of going in marrying two wives, we understand what the impending danger and the trouble that they are going to for the upcoming generation. Yeah. So that was what happened. So I already had in mind that immediately after secondary school, I was going to take pre-degree. So because I usually go for one program, Rural Rugged, in my village, called it Uneme Christian Association. So December's Christmas, every normal children were at home. I'm not always home in Christmas. Yeah, I'm not always home. So it's either we're in one village, so till maybe 30th of December before we return back. But Christmas we're always dedicated for that program. So I met quite a number of men. When I said men, they were men. The Archbishop of Calabar Diocese, Emeritus. I met him there. Wow. Reverend S.A. Academy is in Jos. He's a renowned evangelist in Jos. I met him there. Professor Omoko Adeleye is a consultant in UBTH Benin. I met him there. The former marketing managing manager of Coca-Cola, Solomon Itebuji. I met him there. One time, commissioner in INEC. Also is something in the Itebuji too. I met him there. So there were great
Those
men that.
strategic
So
relationships.
Evangelist Herbert, I met him there. So the son of Archbishop Tunde Adeleye, then he was Bishop Tunde Adeleye of Calabar Diocese. So he was the one, his son was in University of Port Harcourt then, Uniport. So he was the one that bought the form for me. He was studying petrochemical engineering. So he bought the form. So I was to resume the school. So everything ready. So I went, paid, did everything. So to get school fees, the balance for the school fees and house accommodation, it came back to me that my dad was sick. So while he was on the sick bed, he wanted to write a check. How much was it? 120,000. Both accommodation and the balance for the school fees. So I told him that okay. My stepbrother who gained admission in Auchi Poly told him his own was 30,000. He told him that, Daddy, hold on. So I would be stupid to collect mine. So I said, Daddy, just when you are fine, I will come back. So let me go to my mom's place and then get food stuff. And I said, okay. So getting to my mom's place, it was there that we received the call that Dad passed.
Wow. Wow. In the hospital?
Yeah, he passed in the hospital. So
wow.
And the thought of going to the university
just
died. I used to tell people that the knowledge I have today, if I had it then, I wouldn't have dropped out. The highest I would just walk to a Catholic diocese and tell them my predicament, and a priest would take it up. But I was not this knowledgeable, so I left. So after we went home for his burial and every other thing, so I went back. So when I go back to where my mom was in Owo, and then it was very pathetic situations like that, and then I told my mom that I wasn't going to live with any family. Let me just go. So I went to Ado. And if you ask me who was in Ado, that evangelist Alba that I met in that program. So I went to meet him. So it was Alba that was now taking me from one place to another for crusade, this and that. And then I got a job with an hotel in Ado there. So mind you, I have 3 younger ones. So while I was working in Pathfinder Hotel and my younger sister was in a private school, I told her, you are not going to drop because Daddy passed. So complete your SSC. So I stopped schooling, you understand, for her to finish her SS3. So the moment she finished her SS3, I enrolled in part-time in UNAD. So when I got to 200 level, they were doing verifications and all that. They discovered that they did fake admission for me. So I couldn't tell my mom because she would get first. She was like, coupled with the fact there's no father, this, and then my younger sister was with me in Ado. So she was teaching and I was going to school, working as well. So I didn't tell my mother, so I put thing to Federal Poly Ado. So that was how I was just going. And then my sister also, until all of us. So school is never a scam. If you know what awaits you in the future, you will prepare for that future. You don't get to feel that future to start preparing. There's this word of wisdom that some men used to tell us, especially motivational speakers. They will say that you don't prepare in battle, you prepare before the battle. So education is that you prepare for the opportunity that is coming. I told my mom one day, I said, I'm going to get to the highest level of education, academics. I said, there's an opportunity that is going to knock on our family's door. I want to prepare for that opportunity. And she looked at me. All right. So all along, while I was going to school, nobody in the family remembered that there is one of their uncle, their brother, somewhere. And we were just there and just living our life. And God was helping us. And mind you, everything that my dad did or has ever done for people, to people, his good gestures, his good deeds. Somehow, God repaid me. Not through the three people. There's one funny scenario that happened. I was traveling from Lagos to Abuja. So the flight, I boarded the flight. So I was the last person to enter. And why was I the last person? They sold my ticket for someone. So I got angry. Why will you sell my ticket? Like, this is my... They now said, wait, that particular economy is given in a higher purchase, but that I'm still going with the flight too. All right, but they now took me to first class.
Wow.
Do you get it now? So they sold that one, they put me in first class. So when they put me in first class now, so I just came. So those people already inside the aircraft was like, what is this young boy? So as I was just put my bag cabinet, then my passport there. So one man just picked the passport. Now, big boys now. So just saw Alabi Francis Imafedon. So he held the passport. So when I got settled down, strapped my belt, and then the plane was taxiing to the runway. So he said, so which Alabi are you? So I felt,
What was your own?
I know you. So he said, I said, which Alabi did you know? So at this point now, I have read a lot of books. I've had a lot of speakers say that when you get to somewhere, don't be intimidated by anybody. Compose yourself. Adjust with that place, because you don't know where opportunity will get you. So I don't get that. At least Smart Adeyemi was in that flight, and Reverend Sam Adeyemi too. Smart Adeyemi was there. Then Reverend Sam Adeyemi was there too, and one other Ovation MD Dele Momodu. So all those big guys were there. They were just, so I was the youngest of them all. So they thought I'm just one rich spoiled boy. So they were engaging me in discussion, and we were talking. So when he said, which Alabi? Fortunately enough, he knew my dad.
Wow.
My dad sponsored him in technical school.
Wow.
So according to that, to him, the very year when he was disturbed to look for my dad, he's not a big man. He was so disturbed. That was the year my dad was sick and eventually died.
So he didn't even know that your dad had passed?
He didn't know. So I was the one who told him on the flight.
Wow.
So when I told him, I could see the sadness, everything. When we got to Abuja, he gave me a packet of 20,000 and his complimentary card, because I don't have anything to do with him. Because when I got down, I called my elder sister. Did you know Susu and Susu person? Elder sister said, well, that these names rings, but I should ask my uncle. So I called my uncle that I lived with. Did you know Susu person? I said, yes. I remember that name, that person and one of our uncles were in the cell. And then my uncle was now telling the prison warden that if I can get my brother, so they were now like, who's this your brother? So they now telegram, that land phone now, called my dad in there. So my dad came to Kaba Correctional Center. Now Correctional Center, it was a prison here there. So he came to Kaba and asked for his bail. So my dad paid. So that young man was in that prison with him. So he was now crying that nobody to take his bail. So my dad took his bail. All right. So when he was now there, my dad now said, yeah, go now. I said, I don't have where to go. So he followed my dad home. So my dad was okay. Now you are here. What will you be doing? This my uncle that is in Owo. that he was in technical schools. That's okay. Follow Ajayi, that was his name, to technical school. So that was how him and Ajayi was now going to technical school. So after technical school, they didn't see him again. So that is just the little thing. That is how the little journey of my education. So I never attempted JAM. The only time I attempted JAM was for regularization. When just in 2016, when they were saying that you have to regularize for NYC exemption, the certificate. That was why I went to write JAM. I didn't write JAM because just because
I was
you know, I out of it, but I didn't read. I just went to the exam, wrote my. I was so.
It was even computer.
Yeah, it was computer based. You know, they were just talking to me that day. I didn't even say anything. In fact, there was one young man there, Babtek. I just saw him say, "Ha, Baba Wanoluwa, what are you doing?
What are you doing here, sir?
What are you doing?" I said, Babtek, don't just reveal my identity to them. You know, and that was how I went, wrote the exam, came out. And then everybody was struggling. I think I had 234. Just for regularization, not for anything.
Wow,
so education is never a scam, and it will never be. The value you place on something will determine the worth in your life. Those that said it's a scam, check the worth of the education in their life. Check their worth in the society. I just said that Limox did not finish school. That is a lie. The vocational studies over there, a BSc holder here cannot match a vocational studies. So when somebody have an acquired knowledge, vocational knowledge, that it helps him to focus in life, pattern their life. And I think Nigeria will get to a point whereby it's not only to go and study theoretically in school, theory in school. They should have a monotechnic. The essence of polytechnic is so that, okay, that is why I love Futa's motto, self-reliance.
Technology for self-reliance.
You see, so you could understand that we must get to a point where our nation begin to look inward, innovation, what this person can bring to the table. Now, when you are going for interview, they are not looking at your first class certificate. It's what you can add, the value you can add to the. Now, you don't have education. What value can you add? Huh?
Very true.
So that is just.
Very
so
true.
that was how I moved till I finished university. I never went for NYC. Was it wrong? No, because at the time I will finish university. Need I tell you that I went to over 5 higher institutions? Yeah. From UNAD, couldn't finish, take admission to Federal Poly. I couldn't finish. In Federal Poly, something happened. I gained admission. I got the scholarship, left, and then pursued that one, submitted the deferral letter. They could not take the deferral letter to the HOD. So when the scholarship did not work again, I came back. They said voluntarily withdrawn.
That you withdrew
Voluntary.
Oh.
So I took my bag and baggages and went to Lagos. So it was in Lagos I started packaging my life again.
But you didn't have any problem with maybe depression,
No.
like that?
No,
Because
you know.
how will you feel when you get somewhere, and they now tell you that fake admission and you're already into it?
You see, one thing I have.
And you wrote the exam in other level.
I wrote the exam. They saw everything was there now.
You know, we have a case of somebody that scored 144. Sorry for using JAM, and she killed herself. She has not experienced one third of what is going on.
You see, that is it is how you see life. Yeah, it is how you see life. And if you check the person, he has not. Did the father died?
Nothing though.
So it's just the way he he plays it. So see, I have ever, when I was growing, know that I matter in my generation.
Even with the whole
Yes, I know I matter. And you get to find out that how did I know? There's this my auntie that will always tell me in Yoruba. He will say, Pẹ̀lẹ́ ọmọba, Pẹ̀lẹ́ ọmọba. Ó máa ń ṣọmọ olókùú bẹ́ẹ̀ ni, a ò ní sín pẹ̀lú òkú. He said he will greet. He was greeting me in Yoruba, and I don't know how to place the interpretation well in English. But it was, you cannot bury, no matter how you love the person that passed or that died. Will you follow the person to the grave?
And
so it is. so they will tell you that leave that person. He's just like that, but they cannot bury. So what it literally means is that I know how you feel in these challenges, but you are only going through it. You will not die with it. So that was where the name Prince came from. Are you getting it? That was where the name Prince came from. So now my dad is gone. Who to take care of me? Until when I heard God spoke to me and said, "For I will be the father of the fatherless and the husband of the widow." So if God, the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords, is saying that he will be my father because my father is late, all right, then I should automatically become a prince, a heir to the throne. You get that? So that was when that I changed my name. So that, from that moment, Alabi was silent in my name. I Prince Imafedon Francis. So except in my document. So when yes, it's fine. That's my surname. So it was silent, and then Prince was brought in. All right, because of the covenant God, the word of God.
And there's something about names too.
Yeah. So since then, I've had effortless struggle in life.
So lastly, we just want to talk about relationship life.
And